USA Today, Bob Nightengale. The Bryce Harper extravaganza is here. You're right. The best bet is you think the Phillies. So, at what point are we going to have a celebration here in Philadelphia, Bob?
I would think that, he's not going to sign until the winter meetings are in Vegas. And so that's his hometown. That's like the second week in December. So I think it'll stretch out till then. They'll try to soak out every last dollar. But I don't see anywhere in the world anybody outbids the Phillies. I just it's a natural fit, especially with Washington not going above 300.
When you say I don't see any way in the world that someone outbills the Phillies, how much do the Phillies have to bid? Because apparently the Nationals just put $300 million down.
Yeah, so I would think probably close to 400. Maybe over 400. I'm not sure if anybody will even go above 300. I mean, the Dodgers are out, the Cubs are out. The Cardinals usually don't throw that kind of money around. So yeah, it's got to be the Phillies. There's no other choice.
I don't see any way in the world somebody outbids the Phillies. You said $400 million.
Chunk change.
Let me ask you though. Okay, maybe they outbid everybody and get him. Is he worth over $400 million on a 10-year deal? I mean, is that ludicrous, or is this smart economic baseball in today's landscape where attendance is sagging and you need someone to bring people in your building?
Yeah, I mean, it would be probably a 12 or 13-year contract for him because of the age. So he'll get more than 10 years. They'll stretch him out to 38, 39 years old. I mean, Scott Boras kept saying how much he meant to Washington. Obviously, they do it single-handedly, but the franchise value went from $400 million to over $2 billion. TV rights, he sells tickets. That part all play. I mean, you can market him very well. And I remember talking to him in Philadelphia. I mean, he knows his Philadelphia history. He's talking about Mike Schmidt, Broad Street Bullies and hockey and all that, and he really likes the cities with a big baseball tradition.
We're talking with Bob Nightengale, USA Today, Major League Baseball writer, and he writes that you can bank on it. So, I mean, if somebody is a challenger, who might that be? You said that no one's going to outbid them, but is there a team that maybe says, you know what, we can put together a package and make him at least think about it?
Well, I mean, maybe St. Louis Cardinals could do that. They did offer. I mean, they did try to trade for Giancarlo Stanton last year, and take on about $290 million of that contract. The White Sox could do something crazy and say, "Let's see if you want to be a part of our plan." Just a centerpiece of the rebuild. San Francisco, hey, we want you to be our next Barry Bonds. I just can't see anybody, going that high. And those other teams are nearly as desperate as Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia has, come up publicly and said, many times how much money they have. With Machado probably going to New York, they got to have one of the two. Now they're going to get that guy as Harper.
Bob, we've been hearing a lot about not just one name, but multiple names. I mean, all off season, even during the season that just ended, we're hearing Harper and Machado, even a little bit of Mike Trout. Only in this area, everyone would love to see Mike Trout in a Phillies jersey. But all right, let's say the Phillies do sign Bryce Harper for a cool $400 million. What's the realistic chances that another big name gets signed this offseason alongside him?
Well, I could see a guy like Patrick Corbin from Arizona. He's the best starter on the market. Probably get him for like a 5-year deal for about $100 million. Didn't want him to go after like a Dallas Keuchel. But I think that you want another starter too to go with Arrieta, another veteran guy to to help out the young guys. I don't think they'll stop with Harper for sure.
Is there going to be trades in the future? Like, I'm just curious how active the Phillies are going to be, and how much, just for the listeners out there, like how much does this tighten up their cash flow with a $400 million contract? If they're not able to sign these guys that you're mentioning, what's their trade options looking like? Like, how much more work do you anticipate them potentially putting in over the next, 2 to 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, I think, besides, a couple of free agent signings, work to trade. They got plenty of prospects that, they don't want to do anything stupid. But I think just getting those guys alone and say, you know what, we can certainly compete with Atlanta. I mean, they competed with Atlanta all year until the last month of the season when they fell apart. The Mets will be. I think the Mets will be back in action and playing well. So there's no reason to roll when the Phillies. You get a guy like Harper. Can't win that division. I mean, it's still an up-and-coming franchise, and every player, just like when Jason Hayward went to the Cubs, you want to be with a team that's going to be better in the future, especially with young guys. So I think a guy like Harper sees that and says, you know what, I won't be the lone wolf here. There's plenty of young stars to come with me.
Yeah, and, Bob Nightengale from USA Today covers baseball here on the Sports Bash Boardwalk on the hotline. Bob, he rejected a $300 million deal. When you reject a $300 million deal, does that kind of tell you that his understanding is, I know I can get more, or I just don't want to go back to Washington?
No, it's like he knows he can get more. Yeah, I think when the Nationals came out and said we made a big offer, I mean, you knew it was right around $300 million. It's going to be $30 million a year. And it was just like, hey, if they really thought they had a chance, it probably would have been closer to $350 or something. So no, he knows he'll definitely get a bunch of offers of at least $300. And I remember a couple of years ago they were talking about maybe even $500 million. So
Jeez.
No one's talking about $500 million anymore. But about $400, I'd be stunned if he doesn't get it.
Do you anticipate the Nationals going back to him and making another offer, or do they say, "Hey, Philadelphia, it's your $400 million. Good luck"?
Yeah, I don't think they come back to him at all. I mean, I think maybe at some point he may say, you want to make another bid. But from talking to Nationals people, no, nobody at all. And they thought that was a fair offer. Now they said the offer is off the table. That, if we're going to use that money to try to sign some other free agents, so that way that money won't be there even if Bryce Harper comes back to us.
What are your thoughts on them trading any of their big pieces or making a move that maybe causes Hoskins to move positions? Like, is there anything else that you've heard in the rumor mill that involves a big name currently on the Phillies or any other big names? I know we're asking you at nausea here, but anything else along those lines in the rumor mills out there?
No, because of a Hoskins, people have talked about in the Carcion, that sort of thing. We'll see. I think they'll be open to things, but I think they say, you know what, we've been losing for so long. We're going to keep these prospects, and if it just takes money rather than giving prospects, let's go that route. So, they've been so open and transparent about how much money they want to spend. It's like they don't even have to make trades now. They can just get guys with money.
Bob Nightengale, his piece at USA Today, he says, bank on it, the Phillies are going to land Bryce Harper, but they're going to pay a pretty penny to get there. Doesn't seem that there's a fit for him anywhere else. Anything on Manny Machado, Bob? What are some of the things that you might be hearing about him? Because I find him to be a fascinating case this offseason with the way that, he was kind of vilified in that World Series and in the playoffs.
He was. Tremendous talent. You can argue that he's more valuable than Harper just because he plays a Gold Glove defense when he's at third base. He's still a good shortstop, but unbelievable third baseman. Plenty of talent. Virtually the same age. I think he goes to Yankees. He grew up a Yankee fan. Alex Rodriguez was his hero and mentor. They need a shortstop because Gregorius, we missed the first half of next year. And then he's a free agent. And then he goes flat at third base. They move on hard at the outfield. So I just think that's a natural fit from inside of the Yankees. I really don't see him anywhere else.
Last one for Bob Nightengale here. You mentioned Patrick Corbin and these starting pitchers. You mentioned, I think, 5 years, $100 million or something like that. Has the starting pitching value gone down, though? Like, the way that these teams are going to their bullpens? Like, can you get a guy for a little cheaper, or is a guy like Patrick Corbin saying, if you want me, you're going to have to give me the $100 million?
Yeah, Corbin, you get that kind of money just because he's already had his Tommy John surgery. Probably top 5 pitch in the National League. He's young. I want to say like 27, 28. He grew up in Yankee fan too, up in Syracuse, New York. But yeah, I just think he's going to have enough suitors to drive that price up. a guy like Dallas Keuchel, you may be right. I mean, I don't think he'll get $100 million. So the price of pitching has actually gone down, particularly from the John Lester and David Price days.
All right, Bob Nightengale, read out the piece at USA Today and check out the full story, why Bob Nightengale feels that Bryce Harper will be a Philly, or at B Nightengale at USA Today Sports here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Bob, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, guys.